Hi, I'm Jeff, and welcome to another one of my videos where I take a look at all the new comic books coming out on either August 30th or 31st, 2022, and I ask myself the question, what one new comic book would I buy this week if I could buy just one book? Let's jump right into the content of this video first by taking a look back to my pick from 2 weeks ago, which was Star Wars, issue number 26, and the question remains, was it a worthy and worthwhile book to be my just one book pick of the week? And the answer is yes. Yeah, it was. Now, full disclosure, I haven't read it yet. I'm way behind on my comic books. I mentioned this last week, and that still remains the situation. But I'm going to get to them. I have some time off coming up, so I'm really excited to get into all these comic books that I've been missing. But I can, with confidence, say that it was a worthy and worthwhile just one book pick because the secondary market has embraced it wholeheartedly. The book is currently selling for $15 minimum, like $15 and above, and that's before tax and shipping on eBay. So yeah, the secondary market's totally into it, basically because of the multiple first appearances that were in that book, and that is why I recommended it 2 weeks ago, is because there's a lot of first appearances in there, and Star Wars first appearances are not to be ignored, and the secondary market did not ignore it. It is sold out. There is a second print coming, but I don't know that I would be so excited about the second print. I have a feeling that I always have a little bit of a bias against second prints, so there's that. But I also don't think this is going to be a very exciting second print. I think you're going to want that first print if you're going to want that book. But if you missed it, if you just want to read it, you just want to check it out, or you just want to have a piece of it just in case it becomes something major at some point, who knows, maybe then the second print will be for you. But yes, it was a worthy and worthwhile pick. So yay, let me know down in the comments if you picked it up and if you read it. Let me know what you thought about it. No spoilers, please, because I still need to read mine. All right, let's go ahead and move forward and take a look at all the new books that are coming out this week. Now, usually I do the books, at this point, I do the books that I'm going to be pulling. But this week, I have folded all the books that I'm going to be pulling into my honorable mentions. So I've got about 5 or 6 books I'm going to talk about this week. Let's go ahead and jump right into them. First, my first honorable mention is not a new book at all. It is Amazing Fantasy, issue number 1000 from Marvel Comics. Here's the description. The comic that brought you Spider-Man hits issue 1000. We're going big to celebrate in this, our 1000th issue of Amazing Fantasy. An all-star roster of creators: Anthony Falcone, Dan Slott, Ho Che Anderson, Jonathan Hickman, Kurt Busiek, Michael Cho, Neil Gaiman, Rainbow Rowell, Giuseppe Camuncoli, Jim Chung, Marco Cicchetto, Olivier Coipel, Ryan Stegman, Steve McNiven, Terry Dodson, Todd Nauck, and more are coming together to celebrate Peter Parker and Spider-Man's birthdays. Well, actually, it should just be birthday, since they're the same person. So for those of you who don't know, Amazing Fantasy 15 is the first ever appearance of Spider-Man way back in 1962. Let me know down in the comments if you know that date off the top of your head. I think it was around there. So this is pretty exciting. Now, how Amazing Fantasy got to issue number 1000, I don't know. I didn't know there was a current run of Amazing Fantasy out there. So I don't know how it got to 1000, but here it is, and let's celebrate. Basically, this is a book I'm not especially excited about, but if you are a Spider-Man fan, and probably if you're a comic book collector, at least on some level, you are a Spider-Man fan, this might be a book worth checking out because it's an all-star celebration of Spider-Man, but it's not like we haven't had a lot of those all the time. So, yeah, if you're a Spider-Man fan, this might be for you. Otherwise, probably not. The next book I want to mention to you is a new book. It is called Thunderbolts, issue number 1 of a 5-issue limited series from Marvel Comics. Here's the description. Like lightning, superpowered crooks have taken hostages in Staten Island. A dimensional rift tears open in Chinatown. Monsters running amok at the Met. Call in the thunder. New York City's finest are here to save the day. Hawkeye, Spectrum, America Chavez, Power Man, Persuasion, and Guts and Glory. You know them, you love them, they're the Thunderbolts. In the aftermath of Devil's Reign, the Big Apple has big problems, and it's up to a new group of Thunderbolts to turn things around. But when Clint Barton gets tasked with heading up this team and proving they can go toe-to-toe with anything the Marvel Universe can throw at them, the first opponent he's going to have to face is himself. Okay, I'm not particularly excited about this book. This is barely an honorable mention for me. I am just throwing it out there this week. It is a slow week. I hadn't mentioned that yet, but it is a bit of a slow week this week. So I'm basically just mentioning this book because it's a #1 and because I believe it's confirmed that there is going to be a Thunderbolts group in the MCU. Now, I don't think it's this collection of characters. I think it's like U.S. Agent and Black Widow's sister, I forget her name off the top of my head. But I think it's a group of people that we've seen, not these characters. So I don't think there's great spec here, but if you know very little to nothing about the Thunderbolts, which admittedly, that's me. I don't know much about the Thunderbolts at all. This might be an opportunity to check it out if you were interested in finding out more about it. This is a new Thunderbolts team and a new title and a good place to jump on. However, I just want to kind of throw out there in tandem with this is that if you do want to know more about the history of the Thunderbolts, there is a Thunderbolts Marvel Tales issue #1 coming out this week from Marvel Comics. It collects Thunderbolts issues 1 and 2 from 1997. So if you're looking for a little bit of a history lesson on the Thunderbolts, this might be the book for you. But if you want something new and Thunderbolts related, go with the other one. The next book I want to mention to you is a new book. It is called Forever Forward, issue #1 of a 5-issue limited series from Scout Comics. Here's the description. Sci-fi writer Zach Kaplan and artist Arjuna Susini take you on a sci-fi adventure like no other, one that imagines time traveling through the future in an Odyssey-style mythic journey home. When brilliant young scientist Dr. Lewis Moody accidentally launches himself, his secret longtime crush, and 3 best friends 33 years into the future with his unproven quantum time machine, they find a mysterious message from their future selves. The only way back is forward. Now, as they jump again and again through strange future times, will they one day find the technology to time travel back, or are they doomed to hopelessly travel forward forever? Nice tie-in of the title there, Forward Forever. This book actually sounds pretty cool to me. I like the concept. This guy builds a time machine that can move forward, and only forward. And he accidentally brought his crush and 3 of his best friends with him. And now it is up to them to travel through time continuously forward until they find the technology that will allow them to return to the time that they originated from. So you have to imagine that in order for this series, I mean, it's a 5-part limited series, maybe it'll tell a complete story, maybe by the end of issue #5 they'll have found their solution, they'll be back to their present time. But I think it could be a very interesting journey forward in time to see how these characters solve their issues of needing to get back to their original time, but also the future that they end up experiencing as they jump forward and forward and forward and forward and forward in their adventure. It sounds pretty cool to me. And so if you're looking for something kind of new, well, not kind of new, brand spanking new, and a little bit of a flyer, this is one that I would recommend, as always, Forward Forever. Pick it up, read it if you like it, get all 5 issues. If you don't like it, bag and board it, throw it in your collection, and maybe, just maybe, someday, it'll get optioned and maybe something will come out of it. And it'll become that winning lottery ticket that we all hope every single book in our collection becomes. Okay. The next 2 honorable mentions I'm going to mention to you are 2 books that I am going to be buying and I am going to be pulling this week. The first one of those two is Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi, issue number 4 of a 5-issue limited series from Marvel Comics. Here's the description. As the sandstorm overtakes his home, Obi-Wan has more time to reflect in and on the darkness. He looks back on a time when he and Anakin Skywalker were pulled off the front lines of the Clone Wars to confront a lost soul from Kenobi's wartime past. Can the two Jedi bring a man back from the heart of darkness to which he has fallen? Okay. This Obi-Wan series, which I believe I am only 2 issues into, I don't think I've read issue number 3 yet. Once again, I'm very behind on my books. Has been okay. It's been fine. It's not great. It's been okay. But Obi-Wan's very cool, and I'm sticking with it. It's only 5 issues, so I'm sticking with it. And I'm definitely a little bit more interested in this particular issue than I have been a lot of the previous ones, because I'm interested in this lost soul from Kenobi's wartime past, who Anakin and Obi-Wan are going to help. That's interesting to me. If there is a character from Obi-Wan's past that has some significance, that's relevant. So maybe just kind of keep this way in the back of your radar, and just in case for some reason this character is one that people are really stoked about, and it may be someone who we see more of in the Star Wars universe in general. But don't bank on it. Just keep in mind that maybe that could be something that happens. My last honorable mention this week is House of Slaughter, issue number 8 from Boom Studios. Here's the description. The Scarlet arc of House of Slaughter continues as Edwin's search for the legendary monster goes horribly amiss. Adrift on Lake Michigan, can Edwin survive with only the torn pages of his journal as makeshift SOS notes? And what memories of his past cases will surface as he clings to life? Okay, once again, I'm buying this week, and once again, I'm way behind on my comic book, so I haven't even read issue number 7. I've only read, in this new arc, issue number 6. So, but I'm still optimistic about this character, this Edwin, this is a new character in this arc. I'm interested in learning more about the Scarlet Masks, and I love Something is Killing the Children a lot. And even though the first arc of House of Slaughter was a little bit lackluster, I'm still really optimistic and hopeful for the potential of the series, which is why I am still pulling it and why it is an honorable mention this week. Okay, that is all of the honorable mentions. That leads us to the one book that I would buy if I could buy, that I would buy this week, if I could buy just one book this week. That one book this week would be the Sandman Universe Nightmare Country issue number 5 from DC Black Label. Here's the description, just hang in with me. When Madison Flynn first crossed paths with the Corinthian and saw his true nature, she reacted with astonishment and wonder, not fear. Across all his lifetimes, she was one of the only living things to ever see him that way. And now she will learn what a terrible mistake that was. Okay, so why is this my just one book pick of the week? Well, as always, these picks are deeply personal. These are my just one book picks for the week, and I share them with you. And in a week where I'm pulling Obi-Wan, I am pulling, what was the other one I'm pulling? Oh my gosh. Obi-Wan, House of Slaughter. Oh boy, that's not a good sign when it escapes the memory that quickly. So in a week where I'm pulling Obi-Wan and House of Slaughter and Nightmare Country, I am most excited this week about Nightmare Country for 2 reasons. One, I have been enjoying what I have been reading of Nightmare Country. I do not know much, I know very little, if not nothing, about the Sandman universe, which I've mentioned in videos in the past. And Sandman Universe Nightmare Country is a storyline that I'm like, ooh, this is weird. Tell me more. I'm really enjoying it, and if it is indicative of what is entertaining about the Sandman universe, then I fully understand why people are so excited about Sandman. On that topic, the Sandman television show has been a hit. People are going nuts. Every single person that I've talked to that has watched it said they really, really liked it. And that doesn't happen very often. So the heat that is coming off of the Netflix television show is not to be ignored in its potential impact of all things Sandman. So that's something to keep in mind right there. In addition, this past week, I picked up Sandman, was it last week? The week before or last week, I forget. I picked up Sandman issue number 1, the facsimile, which you already knew. I haven't read yet, but I am really looking forward to it. And then finally, of course, this book is written by my guy, James Tynion IV. He's so good. He's just great. I mean, once again, he's the back-to-back Eisner Award winning winner for Best Writer for the past 2 years running. So he's really good. And so don't just take my word for it. Take the judging panel at the Eisners for the past 2 years' word for it. So because it's a Tynion book, and I love Tynion so much, but also because Sandman is hot right now. I mean, hot, hot, hot. I expect to see more stories, a continuation of the Netflix series. Who knows if we will exhaust, maybe the Netflix series will be so successful that we will exhaust the source material for the original Sandman book, probably not, comic series, and then maybe we'll start to get into the Tynion stuff at some point. So I don't know. That's a pretty big leap, but regardless, I like it. I enjoy reading it. Sandman's hot. These are all the reasons why the Sandman Universe Nightmare Country, issue number 5, is my just one book pick for this week. All right, that's it. Once again, it's a bit of a light, slow week, so these are kind of a lackluster collection of books. Let me know if there's anything from this video that I mentioned that like you're excited about, or maybe that you learned about from me just today, or if there's something that's coming out this week that you're excited about that I didn't mention. I'd like to know all of these things down in the comments. Once again, I read every single one and I appreciate every single one, even though I've been really, really bad about responding, but I plan on doing that. Anyways, that's it. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you want to subscribe, subscribe. As always, thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.